Yo, today is December 19, 2022. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover breaking news, culture, mimetic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And that's exactly what we are living through nowadays. Anyway, some really interesting news. This crazy article was dropped. Substack, shout out to Corey Clipston. And in the article, it basically makes the case that Binance US doesn't have any Bitcoin. In fact, they send it to their international branch, which I thought was really fascinating, and kind of connect this with how FTX did their thing, right? FTX, they weren't registered in the United States. They didn't allow US citizens for one specific exchange. They registered in the Bahamas, right? So it's most likely to attempt to evade U.S. regulations. We also had the news that came out the same week, I might add, that SBF was arrested, that the DOJ was potentially investigating Binance for skirting AML and KYC regulation. So we're going to get into all the details of that. We brought all the receipts like we usually do. Also, very strong response by Cynthia Lummis, and she was responding to the bill that was introduced last week by Senator Marshall and Senator Elizabeth Warren that would basically outright ban Bitcoin. Not directly, they say they're going to ban Bitcoin, but it would force open source developers to register with the government and basically ask the government for permission to write code, which is like the most anti-American thing that you can imagine. So we're going to play that for you guys. Crazy day, Monday. Got to start strong. But first, I want to introduce my legendary co-host, always optimistic. How you doing, Opti? It's Monday, bro. Monday.
It is Monday. I think everyone's got a case of the Mondays today, but hey, we're here. We get to make Bitcoin content, so absolutely honored and humbled to be here. And Nico, you actually inspired today's culture. I think it was Darth Coin that hipped us to a message in our Simply Bitcoin Telegram. And this is one that hits close to heart. So there's still a bunch of scammers out there, guys. Be aware, and we'll cover it completely in the culture today. Not only are the scammers running exchanges, but the scammers are running Telegram groups and impersonating people. So I'll tell you my little backstory, and we'll go into what happened over the weekend and how to protect yourself.
Hell yeah. All right, everybody. Let's start the show. We have a lot to cover. I'm really pumped.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Brought to you by NODL. At this point, you should be running your own Bitcoin node. If you don't use your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you're a digital nomad, you have absolutely no excuse because now you can run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right, everybody, at the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 16,602 sats per dollar, 6,023. Block height, 768,104. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, 14,852. Blocks of the halving, 71,896. Halving estimate, April 25th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 5,143 Bitcoin. Capacity value, 85 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation. Bitcoin continues to take government currencies, state currencies to absolute school. Bitcoin has the best incentives, 1.76%, and the market capitalization of Bitcoin is at $319 billion. In the grand scheme of things, Bitcoin is still a baby. Anyways. So I wanted to play you guys this clip of Cynthia Lummis basically hitting back, saying, listen, the FTX debacle had nothing to do with Bitcoin. You guys are using that as an excuse to justify this tyrannical legislation that Elizabeth Warren and Senator Marshall are trying to push through. So I'm glad we had the Bitcoin senator on our side fighting the good fight. I want to say one last thing about this regulation that they introduced. This regulation would have not stopped and it would have not protected investors in the FTX debacle. They're using this as a justification to go after Bitcoin because Bitcoin ends the party. If people have an alternative to state money and that alternative provides better incentives, people are naturally going to opt out. And if people naturally opt out, it ends the racket. And what is the racket? The racket is that the government, the state, has this privilege of being able to create money for free that everybody else has to work for. And people, thanks for the super chat. I'm sorry, guys. This is part of the rules. Vake says, super chat, $5. Just found out my wife slept with Nico and Opti. I'm devastated, but not going to lie, I still watch Simply Bitcoin.
Well, guys, you already know. Someone told us on Twitter, you guys are probably going to need a difficulty adjustment on the super chat, but for now, they're going to get in. So
God damn, bro. I was on fire. I was on fire. Well, Vake, thank you for the $5, bro. I appreciate it. Oh, man. For anyone who doesn't know, guys, by popular request, we were asked to enable the YouTube super chats. And we said that every time someone would give us a super chat, we would stop what we're doing and we would read the chat. And I'm starting to believe that might have not
I told
been
you it was a bad idea.
A great idea. But God damn it, Vake. I was on a roll, bro. Okay. No, you ruined it. Okay. All right. Time to play the video and then we'll talk about it. God damn it, Vake.
We're conflating topics today. Digital assets are not on trial. Fraud and organizations are on trial. So let's separate digital assets from corrupt organizations. FTX, as I've been saying for the last few weeks, is good old-fashioned fraud. And what they did is separate from digital assets. Now, we've all heard that FTX lent its executives hundreds of millions of dollars in commingled customer funds for personal use, and customers who tried to wire money to FTX were instead given Alameda's routing number. That is fraud. That's fraud whether it's conducted in US dollars or euros or digital assets. That is fraud.
Yeah, and the Bitcoin Senator Cynthia Lummis, and you know what? You know what, though? She didn't say Bitcoin. She said digital assets. That does not leave a good taste in my mouth. So, hey, you know, I guess beggars can't be choosers. It's something. I think she is fighting back. She's calling it for what it is. And look, what FTX did is exactly what the bankers in 2008 did. It's exactly what Stanford did. It's exactly what Bernie Madoff did. What does it have to do with Bitcoin? It doesn't have to do with Bitcoin, but holy cow, does it create a great excuse. And remember, guys, don't be distracted. They use the same excuse to go after the open source developer of Tornado Cash, right? Which led inevitably to, because Ethereum is centralized, it led to 60 to 70% of the Ethereum validators today are actively censoring for the Office of Foreign Asset Control, part of the US Treasury, right? And what was the justification? The justification was that 10% of the Tornado Cash the software was being used supposedly to launder money for the North Koreans, right? So don't get distracted by the straw man. Governments have a tendency of doing that. Remember, in the Help Americans Act, I don't know I don't know exactly what the act's name was. Perhaps someone could help me in the chat. They use that act, right? Look at the wording of the act. They use that act to basically install a rule where now you have to report $600 of every transaction. If it's over $600, it has to be reported to the IRS. And then in the Patriot Act, right, literally called the Patriot Act, it took away a tremendous amount of privacy and freedoms from Americans, of which we never got back. And the act was called the Patriot Act. In the Inflation Reduction Act, right, what did they do? They spent more money, more deficit spending, which fuels inflation, right? So don't get distracted by the straw man. And Elizabeth Warren is an opportunist opportunist, and she used what happened with FTX to go after Bitcoin, not to protect investors, not to protect the little guy. That's the excuse. That's the justification. It was because Bitcoin is a threat to their racket. And the racket is they have the privilege to be able to create money for free that us citizens, us peasants have to work for, right? And Bitcoin provides a strong alternative to that, which has much better incentives. And they know that if it was a fair competition, Bitcoin would annihilate the competition. That's why they can't make it fair. That's why they're using the government's monopoly on violence and the government's ability to coerce in an attempt to at least slow down the adoption. And that's exactly what it was. But thank God we have people on our side of the aisle that are fighting the good fight and calling out Elizabeth Warren for the fraud that she is, for the lies and the misrepresentations. And that's exactly what the Bitcoin senator did in last week's hearings. So don't have any heroes in Bitcoin. Completely agree to that. But shout out to Cynthia Lummis. She did her job there. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts?
Well, just to echo kind of what you said, we've said it on the show a lot that the FTX debacle and the similar things that we've seen all year are going to be used as low-hanging fruit. I've joked in the past that we don't even have to read or even listen to most of the FUD and the skepticism and criticism against Bitcoin, because they are usually using the same, as I like to call it, low-hanging fruit excuses, that we're all criminals, that we're fostering money launderers and terrorists and the like. And, I really do enjoy Lummis making a distinction between Bitcoin and shitcoin, because there is a difference. And I like how she put it, FTX is good old fashioned fraud by commingling their funds. Like, you can't get much clearer than this. But this is something that we've touched on last week when, I know Opti's using big words, but when we discussed the Hegelian dialectic, create a problem so you can offer the solution. And it's becoming clear to me that this is exactly what the politicians, the central bankers, and the people making cover over at Legacy Media are doing. They at one point made SBF be the wonder kid of something, someone doing something important in the quote-unquote crypto space. And now, since they got caught, since it blew up in their face so eloquently, they are now using it as an excuse to try to regulate Bitcoin, to try to regulate the whole space, because as we continuously tell you guys on the show, they're afraid of Bitcoin because they understand exactly what Bitcoin will do to them and to the fiat standard that we live under. I mean, remember what Christine Lagarde said in the past, and we continuously use that quote: if there's an exit route, people will use it. So these people aren't dumb. We can say all we want about Elizabeth Warren making her noise and making her rounds and other politicians making the rounds, but I'm fully convinced that they are not in the need of education. They are fearful, and this is why they try to go out and paint Bitcoin in such a way so that they can win the hearts and minds of the masses out there and confuse them. Again, they know that the majority of people don't understand Bitcoin, and so if they can get in front of it with these clickbait headlines, then they can try to control the narrative. Again, they have the monopoly on truth. And so all they can do right now is try to paint Bitcoin in such a way so that they scare people away from Bitcoin. And I'm just, like Nico said, I'm glad that there's people out there that understand Bitcoin as we understand. I mean, to an extent, she did use the digital asset framework, or the meme. But I think that in time we will get more people understanding Bitcoin like we understand. And this is kind of something that Nico and I have been pushing for a while. We are in the race to avoid the war, and the more people that understand Bitcoin, the more people that are holding Bitcoin, the easier it is for us to win, and we will win. It's just a matter of time, and it's a matter of making it through all these obstacles and landmines out there, because they do not want us to succeed. So Someone just said you give them far too much credit. Yes, I understand. Some of the politicians and central bankers do not understand Bitcoin, but I think, as my favorite politician, Brad Sherman, would say, I think he fully understands Bitcoin, and I think it is one of those moments of, what's the meme like? You can't expect someone whose job it is to not understand something to understand it, and I think some of the people out there that are a part of the banking system fully understand Bitcoin, and they're doing their best to, explain Bitcoin in such a way so that they gaslight the masses out there so that they do not find that exit door. Just my 2 cents.
Absolutely, 100%. Hey, I see someone saying clickbait. Nah, man, we're gonna talk about it during the news segment. We got you. This is the numbers, man. These are the numbers. The numbers segment. We usually react to videos. If you're new to the channel, that's how it works, right? Speaking of videos, I have a video for you guys. Anyways, let's get to the news. Let's check it out.
The Daily News.
Brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions. Scan and display QR codes directly on the device to sign transactions and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as the Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, and Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin.
We want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in this space.
So do it. Would you be able to handle it if somebody asked you for $2.1 billion back? Would that be okay? Would you be able to still withstand things?
We're financially okay.
Including...
Why couldn't he just say yes? Why couldn't he say yes? What is going on with Binance? Of course, guys, you guys know we are a Bitcoin maxi show. So what we advocate for is don't shitcoin. It's bad for you. Shout out Jacob. We advocate for dollar cost averaging, staying humble, stacking sats. And if you've been doing that, none of this will have affected you. But I think it really highlights, the shitcoinery coming from these shitcoin exchanges. And I think that interview that CZ did on mainstream media, where they asked him a very direct question. Hey, if could you honor these withdrawals? He's straight up just yeah, we got to figure it out, which I thought was very interesting. Anyway, so let's get through some of the receipts, shall we? Binance sees the largest outflow of stable coins in 24 hours. While Binance has recently gone through an outpouring of stable coins, that's an estimate. It still holds about $30 billion worth of stable coins. So we're seeing record amount of outflows. People are spooked. They see the rumors. Also, this is the memo that the Binance CEO sent to the staffers. Let's check out some of his wording, shall we? It's not that long, but I think it's important to check out. So he sent this all to his staff. You may have seen some of the latest news regarding Binance. The fallout from the FTX implosion has brought with it a lot of extra scrutiny and tough questions. The good news is that even though the news stories don't always reflect it, we can answer the tough questions thrown at our business. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind.
We want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in this space.
So do it. Would you be able to handle it if somebody asked you for $2.1 billion back? Would that be okay? Would you be able to still withstand things?
We're financially okay.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good response. I'll read it again. The good news is that even though the news stories don't always reflect it, we can answer the tough questions thrown at our business. Oh man, I disagree. For example, I mean, it's not even that I disagree. You guys heard it himself. You guys heard it from the man himself. For example, despite today's news regarding withdrawals, we are in a strong financial position. We often process more than $1 billion in deposits or withdrawals on a daily basis. Nothing unusual today. User assets at Binance are all backed 1-to-1, and Binance's capital structure is debt-free. We maintain hot wallet balances to ensure that we always have more than enough funds to fulfill withdrawal requests, and we top up hot wallet balances accordingly. with regard to temporary halt of withdrawals of USDC because we auto convert USDC to BUSD in order to retain larger liquidity pools. We generally regain USDC deposits for future withdrawals. In today's case, many people deposited BUSD or USDT to withdraw USDC. When this happens, we need to convert. Our current conversion channels are clunky. We have to go through a bank in New York and USD, which is slow. We will improve this going forward. With all that going on, we know that we are at a historic moment in crypto. Rest assured, this organization was built to last. As long as we continue to offer users the best product, user experience, and frictionless trading environment, Binance will survive any crypto winter. While we expect the next several months to be bumpy, we will get past this challenging period and will be stronger for having been through it. As always, I'm grateful to each of you for your incredible dedication and hard work, and I'm proud of the incredible business we've built together. Okay, so we kind of know already in the beginning kind of bullshit. We played you guys the clip literally to make the case for that. Now, Corey Clipson, shout out to him, CEO of Swan Bitcoin. Binance US does not have your money, it turns out. It probably exists, but it's held by Binance International, which is, of course, an illegal runaround of US regulations. Walls closing in on CZ's casino boy. Great reporting by Reuters. Now let's check out the article that Corey was referring to. It's called, Is Binance.US a Fake Exchange? Billions in customer funds transferred directly from Binance US to offshore Binance Exchange. Is this just a ploy to trick regulators? In the final days of the FTX collapse, onlookers wondered about the solvency of FTX US-based exchange, FTX US. FTX US was ostensibly held at arm's length from the parent exchange. FTX leadership insisted that customers of the FTX US division would be safe even if the parent company went under. However, when the end came for FTX US, met the same fate, freezing customer withdrawals and entering Chapter 11 with the rest of the FTX Alameda network. Despite being U.S. regulated and theoretically walled off from FTX, FTX US was in really little more than an extension of its offshore owner. One might think that perhaps FTX US was really just a ploy to trick US regulators into focusing on the smaller American company instead of turning attention to the incoming financial hurricane in the Bahamas. It turns out that FTX was not the only offshore exchange to create a US-based and regulated entity. Binance, the world's largest exchange, created Binance.US in early 2019 in response to regulatory pressure. Binance.US was described as a separate entity from Binance that was merely licensing the name and certain features from the main company. Binance.US, based in Palo Alto, is licensed as a money service business in the United States. Note that it is not difficult to obtain these licenses, as we have previously shown in our expose of a network of fake crypto exchanges based in Colorado. However, shortly after the creation of Binance.US, Forbes magazine published a report claiming that they had received a leaked document referred to as the Tai Chi document. According to the document, the Binance US exchange was a ploy to trick US regulators into focusing on the compliant local exchange while the parent exchange went free to do its own business. Binance responded by suing Forbes for defamation, only to drop the lawsuit a few months later. In February of this year, Binance tried a different trick. They invested $200 million in Forbes' parent company. If you can't beat them, buy them. And remember, guys, the Block publication was also bought and paid for, which was leaked. It was bought and paid for by who? FTX. So it looks like this is a common practice, right? You can't sue them into shutting up. Let's buy them. And then, you know, they're not incentivized to speaking truth. And like something really interesting, right? Like, again, I'm going to play you this clip once again.
We want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in this space.
So do it. Would you be able to handle it if somebody asked you for $2.1 billion back? Would that be okay? Would you be able to still withstand things?
We're financially okay.
So didn't answer the question. He said that they want to be the golden standard, right? They want to, you know, they want to be the standard for transparency. But then they're also suing publications that are doing reporting on them, exposés on them. So I don't know, guys. You tell me. Sounds interesting. However, this reporting by Forbes was corroborated by a much more detailed report by Reuters in October 2022. With more sources and documents at their disposal, Reuters found essentially what the Forbes piece 3 years earlier suggested. Binance US was designed to trick regulators and US customers. It shows that in 2018, also known as CZ, approved a plan by lieutenants to insulate Binance from scrutiny by US authorities by setting up a new American exchange. The new exchange would draw regulators' attention away from the main platform by serving as a regulatory inquiry clearinghouse. According to the proposal, executives went on to set the plan in motion. Company messages show. In public, Zhao said the new U.S. exchange called Binance.us was a fully independent entity. In reality, Zhao controlled Binance.us, directing its management from abroad. According to regulatory filings from 2020, a company messages and interviews with former team members. An advisor in a message to Binance executives described the U.S. exchange as a de facto subsidiary. So, I mean, I don't know, like, how much we have to prove to you guys, how much we have to tell you guys, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. And another thing which is really interesting is that why is it that the shitcoin exchanges, not all of them, of course, but the two main ones, whether it's FTX, whether it's CZ, it's all lies and misrepresentations, man. CZ could not answer a very basic question, and it's all marketing. Like, we want to be the most transparent exchange. When they ask him, like, could you honor that withdrawal? Yeah, maybe. And then also, if you want to be the most transparent, you're kind of doing this stuff behind everybody's back. So, like, I just, it's not surprising to me. But I think the overall message of this is the gambling for the shitcoins, right? And it is gambling, which means that, you know, sometimes you're going to flip a coin and you're going to get that side right. But Opti and I and most Bitcoiners, they could tell you shitcoin, and 99% of the time you will end up with less Bitcoin than you had before. So is it worth it? Is it worth having that exposure? And remember how they phrased it in that article. Binance.us was to give the appearance not only to regulators, but also American citizens that, hey, you're safe here. You're protected by US regulations. But what FTX showed is that even though it was technically a separate company, and in the beginning they said that SBF said that FTX.us had money, right? It all ended up to be a lie. So Binance.us has no Bitcoin. As soon as it's deposited to Binance.us, it's sent to Binance International, where it's completely out of the hands or out of the touch of US regulators. And mind you, I'm not a fan of bigger government. I'm a Bitcoiner. I'm not a fan of bigger government. I'm not a fan of bigger bureaucracy. I'm trying to make the case for you guys to stay away from shitcoins because they're bad for you. Stay humble, stack sats, buy Bitcoin, earn Bitcoin, mine Bitcoin, take that Bitcoin into self-custody, because you have no idea what they're doing behind the curtain. You have no idea. The facade, Binance.us. Are you really putting your faith in the swamp of Washington, D.C. to protect you via regulations? Because those regulations didn't help us shit in 2008. Us millennials, bro, we got fucked, to be honest. We got fucked. They didn't protect us then. Only one banker went to jail. And you're still wanting to put your trust in these people? Don't trust, verify. Take Bitcoin into self-custody. Learn how to run your own node. If you don't want to build one, you could buy one. Not our sponsor. Freaking make great nodes. Buy Bitcoin. Earn Bitcoin. Mine Bitcoin. Take that Bitcoin into self-custody and forget about it. Literally. Write down the seed phrase, and you could be watching while this whole thing implodes. Maybe Binance implodes. I have no idea. Maybe it explodes. No idea. But as a Bitcoiner, you will be watching from the sidelines with your popcorn saying, I can get cheaper Bitcoin now because of this disaster that they caused. And then everybody's going to be freaking out like, bro, I left my Bitcoin on the exchange because I was trying to trade and I was trying to increase my position. There is this fund by Travis Kling, super reputable. It's called the Kagi. Completely went under. Why? Because he kept the majority of the assets that belong to the fund on FTX. And remember, FTX had all the bells and whistles. They had Tom Brady, they had Mr. Wonderful. You know who Binance just signed as spokespeople? Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Sounds very similar, doesn't it? Right? So don't trust verify. Binance.us does not have your Bitcoin. It's with the international organization because it's out of the hands of the regulators. You saw it in the leaked documents yourself. You saw how Binance first tried to sue for defamation. When that didn't work, they tried to buy Forbes themselves so that they wouldn't say anything. Like, the writing is on the wall, and then this sack of shit goes on TV and tells you this. I'm going to play it one more time. That's right.
We want to be transparent. We want to set the golden standard for reliability, solidness in this space.
So do it. Would you be able to handle it if somebody asked you for $2.1 billion back? Would that be okay? Would you be able to still withstand things?
We're financially okay.
Including you have $2.1 billion to give away. If somebody came to claw that back, you'd still be fine?
We'll let the lawyers handle it. We are financially strong.
We'll let the lawyers handle it? Huh? So, look. I'll let you guys be the judge. I made my case. Opti, what do you think?
Well, excuse me. I think the meme in mind of nothing is more official than the official denial comes to the top of mind. And just, just seeing everything that CZ is doing, obviously we don't have the full insight of what is actually going on with the company, but just by the things he's saying and seemingly doing, it's almost verbatim and identical to what happened when the FTX explosion happened. And I've said it before on the show, it's very interesting that Binance knew exactly which strings to pull in the FTX collapse. It's almost like they have intimate knowledge of the workings of the company because they're probably doing it themselves. So funds not SAFU. And again, guys, this is just further to the idea that we tell you guys all the time. Exchanges are not wallets. Do not keep Bitcoin on these exchanges, especially shitcoin casinos, because we understand how these companies make their money. It is either by trading fees or by rehypothecating your Bitcoin. So if you want to take that chance yourself, if you want to risk your Bitcoin, then by all means, don't take this PSA from Simply Bitcoin and trust that your funds are SAFU. But as we've seen historically in Bitcoin, as more exchanges blowing up, continuously happening every couple of years, your best bet is just take Bitcoin into self-custody. You don't know which company is trading paper Bitcoin and which company is actually holding their coin one-to-one. But if you have to trust versus verifying, then you are wholly missing the plot. You want to take this Bitcoin into self-custody because that's the only way you actually own Bitcoin. So, whether Binance actually has those assets one-to-one, I wouldn't take that risk myself. And people are saying in the chat that we are misrepresenting what CZ is saying because he was being asked whether he would be giving back FTX's money to the customers that they came to them. Guys, we fully understand this, but this is still further to our point that you shouldn't keep any Bitcoin on these exchanges. I wouldn't be trusting Binance. They are one of the biggest shitcoin casinos out there. So You know, if they are doing what they say they are and you're taking them by your word, again, you're trusting someone. And this is the whole point of Bitcoin. Do not trust these middlemen exchanges because you don't have to. Opt out of this madness. Take your Bitcoin into self-custody. Do it now before there is an actual bank run on Binance, because you never know what is going to happen.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Look, someone said double standard. Double standard here. Binance is a private company. No one probed FTX or Sam for their finances, but a Chinese man comes in TV and you all want to crucify him. What does that have to do with anything? What does it matter where he's from, dude? What matters is like literally we literally laid out the case for you. Like the reality is, guys, if you have your money on Binance, whether it's CZ, whether it's SBF, it is not your money. It's their money, and you're trusting them to give it back to you. And what we're making the case for today, right, is not your keys, not your Bitcoin. You don't have to trust someone else anymore, whether that is CZ, whether that is Binance, whether that is FTX, whether that's a bank. It doesn't matter. Look at the cases. Look, you want to put the whole, crypto shitcoin industry aside. Look at what just happened in Lebanon. People were literally trying to get out their life savings out of the banks. They shut them down, saying, no, we can't give that to you. And the lesson remains the same. If it's not your keys, it's not yours. You're trusting somebody else. Today, we made the case that some very sketchy shit happened. And if you make the connections, SBF did the same thing when he tried to buy the block to shut up. CZ, according to the report by very reputable sources, Forbes and Reuters, offered $200 million to buy the parent company of Forbes. Why wouldn't you do that but to shut them up? And on the video clip that we played for you guys, CZ literally said, we want to be the gold standard of transparency. Do you think that's the gold standard of transparency when they're trying to buy out the media sources to shut them up because the defamation lawsuits didn't work? You could try me on the chat, but we're very firm in what we believe. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin. And look, and if you are, gambling and whatever, and it's your money, you could do what you want with it. What we're trying to do is we're making the case. If it's not your keys, it's not your Bitcoin. This not only applies to crypto exchanges, this applies to banks as well. When you have the technology to store millions, billions, theoretically trillions of dollars by writing down a 12-word seed phrase, why the fuck would you not do that? Why? Because you have short-term time preference. You're thinking about the short term. Think long term. Think about your family. There's 21 million Bitcoin divided by infinity. It's a very simple math problem. But of course, you could chase the short-term gains and get wrecked in the process. But yeah, you can continue using the distractions and the straw man, and it's like, oh, it's because this, it's because it's like, no, it has nothing to do with that. But hey, look, we say this all the time. Sometimes people just have to burn their finger on the stove. They have to pay their price of tuition, and that's the only way they learn. Unfortunately, some people don't want to do that. That's why exactly when Bitcoiners, Corey Clipston also, he was shouting it from the rooftop that Celsius was a scam. And he was getting the same shit that you're telling me right now. Same shit. Oh no, what are you talking about? Whatever. And then it blew up. And then people lost their life savings. You're talking about mothers, grandmothers, people that have worked their entire life, saved up to chase this 6% yield. And they got wrecked in the process. Bro, how dare you? I'm literally I'm saying, take self-custody, because if not, it's not yours. What in that isn't true? Please let me know. Anyways, Opti, let's get to the culture. Let's do it.
Let's go.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, everybody, I want to tell you about one of the best Bitcoin conferences in North America, BitBlock Boom, a true Bitcoin conference. Networked with fellow Bitcoiners in Austin, Texas, August 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 2023. This is not a shitcoin, NFT, or blockchain event. We talk about Bitcoin, and more Bitcoin. Check out BitBlock Boom, and you can take advantage of the promo code, all caps, simply Bitcoin, to get a major discount to your BitBlock Boom tickets.
All right, guys, we got this message, and I believe it was our Simply Bitcoin Telegram group. And personally, man, this one hits close to home because I remember experiencing this same experience when I was green and I was a noob and I was out here learning. And, you know, when you come into the Bitcoin space, there's one thing that you need to learn. And I think I still yet to cover it on the show. Everyone is a scammer and everyone wants your Bitcoin. So trust no one. Hence why we go so hard every single day. Do not trust anyone with your Bitcoin. Take back your personal responsibility on your money. Take your Bitcoin into self-custody. But this is a totally different story, and I'm going to cover what I have on the screen for you guys, a little story time, and then I'll go into my own little story time and just talk about how I know this problem personally firsthand. So we got Zombie Node. Again, I believe this was in our Simply Bitcoin Telegram group. Go check it out. A bunch of cool Bitcoiners in there. And he goes, the problem I had was not having a Bitcoin log file and not getting Electrum Rust to sync. I asked for help with this in a couple different groups, including this one. I took it upon myself to try to fix, but did not look very hard for documentation. I tried changing to Bitcoin Core 22.0. After doing this, it looked like closing my Lightning channels was not confirming on chain. I then was panicking and asked the groups for help again, which is when the scammers started contacting me. The one I chose to work with had a profile name of Open Noms. I was told I have to send Bitcoin on chain to them so they can synchronize the versions of Bitcoin Core on my node and actually allow my transactions to confirm on chain. This seemed to actually work as I saw my transaction from my node confirm, but then they kept asking for more funds to finalize the sync, and yes, I sent more funds on chain multiple times. I was having a hard time finding documentation on changing Bitcoin Core, and I was worrying about my channels, peers, and causing errors on the chain. This combined with a believable enough to me impersonation of a respected and trusted person responding to my pleas for help is what did me in. As OpenNons has said, it's not uncommon. I just happened to fall harder for it than most would, I guess. There were several mistakes I made here, and fine if you want to single me out personally. I put this here just for anyone to see in case it might help someone. So what happened here, guys, is someone got scammed in a Telegram group. So if you are unfamiliar with Telegram groups, when you go and ask for help, sometimes you will get responses, personal responses from people impersonating well-respected figures in the space, and they will send you a DM and they will act like they are helping you. They will, you know, do their best to walk you, quote unquote, walk you through the issues and seemingly help you get your Bitcoin back. But usually this is a red flag. If you are in a public Telegram group and you ask for help, and then someone responds to you in a personal DM, consider this a red flag from a scammer. And what happened here is someone impersonated a well-known Bitcoiner. Someone was asking for help. They got a personal DM on Telegram, and the guy seemingly helped him walk through the problem. It seemed to work, but it looks like he got scammed out of some Bitcoin, probably more than he would like to. So while this is a learning moment, and thank you for the comment, Zombie Node and Darth Coin, for pointing this out to us. I feel this guy's pain, because in my early days, in my noob days in 2018, I as well got scammed by someone phishing as someone else. And when you're new, you know, you're not used to the idea that everyone's a scammer and everyone wants your Bitcoin, and that they are doing all kinds of social engineering acts to get you to send them Bitcoin, to get them to send you your personal private keys. And so again, we say this all the time. If you do not want your Bitcoin scammed from you, do not send Bitcoin to anyone. Most Bitcoiners that I know will always do a PSA out there saying, if I ask you for Bitcoin, it is not me and it's a scammer. And this is a very good heuristic that you should live your life by, because everyone wants your Bitcoin. And so people will socially engineer you. They will pretend like they are someone else, someone that you may know, someone that may be respected, and they will DM you and try to walk you through the troubleshooting, only to try to get you to send them your private keys. First and foremost, never put your private keys in a Telegram group with someone. This is not a way to help you. But if people ask for your Bitcoin, then you can be pretty sure that they are trying to scam you. So the moral of the story here, guys, and I've experienced this myself, I sent way more Bitcoin than I should have to someone pretending that they were someone that I knew, and I got wrecked. And of course, human psychology is very interesting. You got to put your hand on the stove sometimes for you to learn lessons. And while this is very unfortunate, it's going to continue to happen. So this is why I figured it was a good idea to bring this on. If you are learning about Bitcoin, if you're on Telegram groups, do not let this terrify you away from becoming a Bitcoiner. But just know, everyone's a scammer. Everyone's trying to get your Bitcoin. They will try to socially engineer you so that you send them Bitcoin, so you send them your private keys, and they just want to take your Bitcoin. So this is a learning lesson. Shouts out to you, Zombie Node. I feel your pain. I know exactly what this feels like, and it's not a good feeling. So my 2 recommendations here, guys, is first and foremost, do not send anyone Bitcoin. If people ask for your Bitcoin on Twitter, on Telegram, on an email, in a text message, just write it off as them being a scammer. Second, I know right now is one of those moments where Zombie Node and people like this might be, they might be feeling the pain. You've probably given away a small fortune to a scammer, and you may be turned off from Bitcoin in general, but do not let this stop you from understanding what is going on in Bitcoin, understanding how to take self-custody, understanding that there are people socially engineering out there, that people want your Bitcoin, because we say it all the time. Everyone is a scammer. Everyone wants your Bitcoin. That's how valuable Bitcoin is. And we are so new to this whole experience that people don't understand what the game is out there. This bottom ticker. Anyways, guys, I feel your pain, Zombie Node. I understand this exact feeling, and the only defining trait between me and you in the past, you and me in the past, is that I continue to double down on my education. I continue to stay humble and stack sats. I understood that this is an inherent flaw with Bitcoin. This is more a fact that people out there are trying to take your Bitcoin from you. So, again, if you ask for help in a Telegram group, and it's a public Telegram group with a lot of people, do not respond to the personal DMs you're going to get, because they are most likely going to be scammers. Unless you verify the person is who he says he is, and they will do all kinds of tricks to get you to think that they are the person they are. Do not send Bitcoin to them. Do not give them your private keys, because you will get wrecked. And furthermore, like I said a while ago, make sure you know what you're downloading on your computer. Make sure you are actually downloading what you say you are, because people want your Bitcoin. And in my opinion, this is just a feature. And Bitcoin is that valuable that people will want to take your Bitcoin. So everyone out there, just remember, do not send your private keys to people. Most Bitcoiners will not ask for Bitcoin, and if they do, it's an immediate red flag that they are scammers. So, Zombie Node, I hate to hear this story, but just understand, continue your education, continue to double down, continue to stack sats, and everyone else, man, if you get these DMs, just be very aware that everyone's a scammer and they all want your Bitcoin. So just be on your toes, guys. Keep your head on a swivel, because Bitcoin is that valuable, and there is no returns. There is no rewind button in Bitcoin. So once it's gone, it is gone. And these are the harsh lessons that people are going to learn and will continue to learn. Just like we said in the news, people need to learn that it's not your keys, not your Bitcoin, and don't leave Bitcoin on an exchange. Well, the same lesson will be learned, that people people want your Bitcoin. Everyone is a scammer. So just be aware out there, because we are still in the wild west of this Bitcoin experiment, this Bitcoin monetary experiment. And you just got to be aware, guys. You know, be safe out there. It is the holiday season. People aren't thinking clearly. So just take your Bitcoin into self-custody and do not send Bitcoin to strangers on the internet, unless you know it is someone that is a reputable person, a company that you know you can go and talk to. You know, hopefully we can help people avoid this, but this is something that will continue to happen. So shouts out to you, Zombie Node, for making it known, because I know it's not easy to talk about this stuff, because I went through the same exact thing in 2018 and it almost broke me. But the only thing that helped me through it was studying Bitcoin and continuing to double down in my education.
Yeah, 100%. And dude, I think you hit the nail on the head. And I've been a victim of this as well, right? The people, you have to understand that this is like a pretty, like, not this isn't a sophisticated, like, I would say this isn't a sophisticated attack, but if you will be targeted at one point with a sophisticated social attack where perhaps they know either your family member's name or your name, and they'll create an email with that family member's name, and then they'll reach out to you, right? And they'll be like, hey, you know, like this and this and that. So be aware of social attacks. Social attacks, most people think like, okay, someone's going to show up to my house with a wrench and they're gonna be like, hey, you know, but the majority of Bitcoin that's stolen from, that gets scammed by people, is literally a social attack. It's a phishing attempt, right? It's to make you, it's to gain confidence with you and to try to get a hold of your Bitcoin. And, you know, we have a very famous saying in the Bitcoin space, which is everyone's a scammer, right? Don't trust, verify, you know, don't have heroes in Bitcoin. They tend to die, metaphorically, of course. So yeah, man, but I think Opti, you covered that greatly. And I think that these types of examples are hard lessons that people should be aware of, you know, so that you don't find yourself in that situation one day. You know, I really recommend multi-sig. I think multi-sig is great. It is a little technical. There's awesome Bitcoin companies that make it easy, like Unchained, like Casa. I mean, you can't say Casa anymore because they added fucking Ethereum. But yeah, there is, I guess, one Bitcoin company that does this, like Unchained. They're great. So, but yeah, man, just be wary out there. Remember, everyone wants your Bitcoin. Do not give it to them.
Hold on, Nico. Before we go on to the meme review, we have a comment here. Someone said, hold on, I am not entertained. I am being preached to, waste of my time. And I responded, guys, we fully understand that there's a lot of Bitcoin content out there. You don't have to watch our show, but we understand one thing. We are getting new people every single day into the Bitcoin space, and we also want to reach them so we get them up to speed so that they can become Bitcoiners, get into the nuance. So yes, we do kind of go over the Bitcoin fundamentals at time, but that's because you don't see what we see. We're getting a lot of new people in here, and they don't know everything that you know. And so we're doing our best to not only get the Bitcoiners that are already Bitcoiners, but convert people from normies to Bitcoiners. So yes, hey, if you don't like what we're doing, there's more content out there, but we're doing a service for everyone out there because we see differently on this side. People are getting into the Bitcoin space and they are learning as well. And we get these messages all the time. And so we're doing our best to get them into Bitcoin.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Sorry, I thought I heard my dog scratch.
I think it's my dog, my roommate's dog over here.
Meme review.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboomracks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboomracks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboomracks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboomracks.
Kaboomracks.
All right.
Yo, I get this question all the time. Everyone's like, Nico, where can I buy a Bitcoin miner? Bro, literally Kaboomracks. It literally, the Telegram group is down in the link description. You join it, and they're posting deals all the time. You want to get into mining, now is the time. Now is the time. You don't want to get into mining when we are at a peak bull run. We want to get into mining right now, and ASICs are at a major discount. Opti, what is this? What are you showing me? Why?
Okay. All right.
Why?
Well, it's a meme. Hey, it's the meme review. This is my job over here, is to lighten it up and entertain. So, of course, you already know this is the meme review. Drop your meme reviews. Drop your meme reviews chat. Score in the chat so that we can cover it later. And as Nico always said, tweet to the bullets. Memes are the artillery. You guys are on the front lines. You guys continue to spread that truth. Continue to spread the humor and the ridicule. And here we have one, Nico. You may not like this, but this is a good one. And you can see it's what? Coins a la carte. And he goes, Sam Bankman-Fried stole customer funds, so we must ban Bitcoin. And it's a head shitting into a toilet head, his other half of the head. It's more of the comment over here. This is back to the idea that we continuously cover on the show. This is no inherent fault of Bitcoin, all the FTX collapse, all the lending collapse. This is why we tell you every single day, take your Bitcoin into self-custody. Bitcoin is running as it's been designed to for a decade now, plus. And none of this has any effect on Bitcoin. And continuing on that theme, shouts out to @HODLNeverSodle, and he goes, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. And we got, this is a Dumb and Dumber meme format, and he goes, FTX users with a bunch of paper in their hands. He goes, what is this? Where's all the money? And we got Jim Carrey as SBF, and he goes, that's as good as money, sir. Those are IOUs. This is what we tell you guys. Make sure you're not holding paper Bitcoin. Take your Bitcoin into self-custody, because this is why banks have been able to do what they do forever, because they are rehypothecating your funds. Take back your power with Bitcoin. This next one, shouts out to our friend Gold Leader. And I didn't know Nico was going to replay that CZ clip all day. But anyways, I'm glad he did, because we got Gold Leader, and he goes, corporate needs you to find the difference between these two pictures. And we got Will Ferrell in Anchorman. He goes, I don't believe you. And then we got the lady rolling her eyes in that CZ clip. Someone said in the chat, we need her as like a audio or a visual clip on the show, Nico. So when there's another point of contention, we just play her like Dude, rolling her eyes.
We're missing a lot of soundboards. Like I want more Michael Saylor. I want more Corey. I want just like some sauce from some of the most awesome Bitcoiners, bro, that we could just fucking.
All right. Well, I will upgrade my soundboard for you guys so that I can
like that.
Malaga.
Like that. We got yellow. At least we got yellow. You know, that's.
Let's go.
That's what we got.
All right, this next one, shouts out to Ryan Zach Music, and he goes, my first Bitcoin meme popped into my head while driving and made me chuckle. We tell you guys consistently, put your hat in the ring, continue to meme, continue to make the Bitcoin content that you want to see, because there's not enough out there. And this is a standard meme template with the superhero pushing buttons, and on the left it goes slavery, and on the right it goes remember 12 words. As Nico says all the time, it is Bitcoin or slavery, and all you have to do is remember 12 to 24 words to opt out of the fiat panopticon that they want for you. Opt out of the dystopia with your 12 and 24 words, aka your private keys. This next one, shout out to Mitch Klee, and I'm glad we kind of talked about this on the numbers. He goes, there's Bitcoin, and then there are digital securities, and it's just the picture of Tom Cruise laughing because there's Bitcoin and there's digital securities. And if you're not holding Bitcoin, then you're most likely holding a digital security, aka there's Bitcoin and there's shitcoins. This next one is by the Bitcoin conference, and he goes, the dominoes are falling. And I really enjoy this this meme right here. We got a little baby Bitcoin kid, and he's just playing dominoes, and the dominoes continuously get bigger until we get to the big daddy king, the final boss, which is fiat and the dollar. The dollar will be the last fiat to fall. And this is the game that we're playing. And the powers that be know this. This next one, shouts out to Away Slice. This is a video for those on the spaces. He goes, who captured this live footage of Bitcoin Twitter? And it's a tree that is on fire on the inside, but the tree looks very normal and nothing's happening on the outside. If you've been on Bitcoin Twitter longer than a few weeks, you probably feel the same way. It is just a shit show and, on fire half the time, but this is fine. This is all part of Bitcoin Twitter and why we do what we do. Again, put your meme review score in the chat so that we can cover it on the show live. Anyways, I got this Sats Obsessed Mentality by BTC Pens, a play on Cards Against Humanity. Shouts out to you, bro. My box is a little torn up. It's been through some things because of traveling, but Sats Obsessed Mentality card game. Absolutely love it. Haven't fully played it yet, but will get on the drinking game soon. Jump in, Nico. What's your meme review?
Dude, my meme review, I got an inspiration from you, Opti. I got an inspiration from you. I think you'll be very proud of me.
Uh-oh.
A jug. I no longer, this is, I got to get on Opti's game.
Dude, you got to stay hydrated, bro.
Look at this. Look, that's how much water I've been drinking. Right?
Wow.
Very, very hydrated. I've been learning.
You're not drinking your water anymore, though.
I've been learning. Oh, wait. We got a super chat. Pause. Lucas, reminder to all the super chats are open. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Anyways, guys, this is Simply Bitcoin Live. Drop your scores in the live chat. Before we do that, I want to give a very special shout out to our awesome clothing merch sponsor, representltd.com. I'm wearing the Simply Bitcoin merch, exclusive merch. By the way, this sweater already sold out. You can't get it in,
really?
You can't get it in large, you can't get it extra large, you can't get it in media. In medium. So it says Peaceful Revolution, Sound Money. Guys, get it quick before it's sold out. The camo hoodies are still available. Got shirts, hats. Check out representltd.com. You can take advantage of the promo code simply-bitcoin. Anyways, let's get to some of the scores. Opti, start pulling them up. Tyler Durden swallowed the red pill. I give 500 kilowatt hours to your miner. Very good score. Very good score. Next one by Bitcoin for Canadians. I give those memes CZ going belly up in 2023. Cheaper Bitcoin, 100%. Next
Please
one,
serve me,
TK.
familia.
I give these memes Christine Lagarde's used diaper. Speaking of Lagarde, shout out to Opti's sponsor, Opti's Store to Time, brought to you by Neutrogena, promo code Lagarde. That's a joke. Bitcoin Becca, I give the memes a quote, everything is fine meme. That's a great meme. All right, Opti, we got time for two more. Opti's infatuation with sexy male British accents. Score, mommy, Opti's Christmas invitation. Very, very nice.
I give you guys too much information to meme
Last
me.
one, a HODL coin. I gave those memes a Spartan soundboard for Cynthia Lummis. One of us. The time is out. Also, guys, check out Simply Bitcoin's Telegram group. It's absolutely free. You got to go to www.t.me/simplybitcointv. Also, check out the blog, Simply Bitcoin Unfiltered. simplybitcoin.news. That's where you can find the written version of this show. Shout out to our awesome writers, Zach, Weinicus, Paul, Rusted. Love you guys. You guys are what makes it happen. Opti, software or plebsite today?
It's a site.
Plebsites.
Brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that loses their Bitcoin seed due to fire damage, water damage, dog attacks. Back up your generational Bitcoin wealth on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the Cypher Grid by CipherSafe. And now check out their new Bitcoin art, the Bitcoin Rulux triangle, only on cyphersafe.io.
All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, today's website by Bitcoiners is satscrap.com. I repeat, satscrap.com. It's like an eBay for Bitcoiners out there. I know it's a bear market and everyone's looking for more ways to stack sats. Well, here is a website where you can sell your crap for sats and it's like a Bitcoin eBay site. So there's a bunch of stuff on here. I don't know. I know people are looking for ways to stack more sats out there. So go check out satscrap.com. And TK, shouts out to you, bro. Yes, the Substack is slaying it. The boys over there are dropping a hot fire. I absolutely love what they're writing, and I can't wait to see the next stuff. And of course, if you want to listen to this in audio only form, we are on Anchor, we are on Spotify, we are on Apple. Again, I think we're on every podcasting platform out there, but we are a part of the value for value economy on Fountain. So you can stream us some sats, you can send us comments. We will read them on Friday. And to everyone that has clipped us, we appreciate it. We love you. Continue clipping on the show, and we'll retweet it, and we'll be very appreciative, man. Staying humble.
You guys are what's keeping us on air, and of course our awesome sponsors as well. Check them all out. They're down in the video description. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Consider smashing that like button. Subscribe if you feel like we provided you value. And the number one thing you could do to push the peaceful revolution forward is share this content. Not only us, share all Bitcoin content, true Bitcoin content. That's how we win. If you want the party to keep going, I have a meeting today, so I won't be able to make it. You could join us on Twitter Spaces, which we co-host with our friends over at Swan Bitcoin. Best place to stack sats by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. And that goes all the way until 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we got about 35 minutes of a live Twitter Spaces going right now. All you got to do is open your Twitter app, see the Simply Bitcoin. You'll see it's very easy to find us. Love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow for a brand new episode of Simply Bitcoin Live.